best jump scare animatronics of all time, ghoulies, ranked today on Tier List Tuesday. This is the Voina experience. What's happening, ghoulies? Welcome back to the Voina experience. Thank you guys so much for joining us on Tier List Tuesday. So excited, ghoulies. Today we've got a pretty good fun one for you. If you've been following us, we've done some different animatronic tier lists over the last couple of Tuesdays, and today we are going to be taking a look at Spirit Halloween's best jump scare animatronics of all time, and we are going to rank them on a tier list. And I'm going to tell you something right now, ghoulies. This particular tier list was very difficult for me because I have chosen, we believe here at the Voina Experience, to be Spirit Halloween's 12 best jump scare animatronics of all time. And I'm telling you, I love every single one of these animatronics, but I can't just put them all into an awesome tier because that would be boring. So I really had to break it down, ghoulies, and it's gonna be really difficult for me to spread these ones out, but I'm gonna do my best to be fair, and we're gonna get into judging the 12 best Spirit Halloween jump scare animatronics of all time. And they are Little Skelly Bones, Nightcrawler, Lunging Pumpkin Carver, Jumping Spider of all colors, Fright in the Box, The Hauntress, Sitting Scare Clown, Mr. Dark, Menacing Molly, Des Modus, Henry Hustle, and Abandoned Annie. Now, ghoulies, you'll probably notice that we have in previous tier lists ranked a few of these animatronics already, but those rankings were specific to, that particular tier list. So this is gonna be a completely different tier list, so they're gonna get a different ranking on this one entirely. All right, ghoulies, so here we are once again on the famous tiermaker.com website, and we have our usual categories of awesome, like it, okay, and do not like. And down here you see our 12 animatronics down here for us and ready to go. And we're gonna be starting, as always, as we do on the left-hand side right here with Little Skelly Bones. Now, Little Skelly Bones is a great animatronic, ghoulies. He has a great jump scare. It always kind of gets me every single time. In fact, if you haven't watched any of our videos, if you don't know anything about us here at TVE, we own Little Skelly Bones, and he is one of our favorite jump scares. And I have to say that because of that fact, I think he is completely awesome. His costume is awesome, his phrasing is awesome, his jump scare gets me, and I own the thing, and it still gets me every single time. I love him. I think he's just an all-around great jump scare animatronic. Even though he's crouched in what appears to be this position, people still aren't really expecting him at all when he jumps, and it gets my mailman every single time. That is gonna then bring us to the Lunging Pumpkin Carver here. And again, guys, this is a fantastic jump scare animatronic. I posted like a short of this one like last year or so forth, and the views on it went insane. This is just a crazy scary looking animatronic. It's a little girl carving a pumpkin, and then her voice changes and she just lunges at you, and it is extremely scary. The costume is great, her phrases is great, and this is another one, ghoulies, that I really just don't have anything bad to say, or can't really put anything in a negative category on her, so she's gonna go right up here in the awesome, right next to Little Skelly Bones. Now, I promise you, not every single animatronic is going to go in the awesome section, but a lot are probably gonna end up in there. But let's keep going. All right. Okay, guys, coming up next, we have here is the Jumping Spider. Now, guys, I know what everybody's thinking. Jumping Spider, what's so great about it? It's just a spider that's crouching and then it jumps up. But listen, ghoulies, this animatronic has been in Spirit and has been sold consistently by Spirit Halloween, both online and in stores, since its release in 2011. So I'm thinking for an animatronic that's over 10 plus years old to still be as popular as it is today, there is something awesome about it. I also have a Jumping Spider animatronic, and I have to say, guys, it's one of my favorites. In its simplicity, it is quite awesome because it is just simply a spider covered in web, but guys, this one is just sort of a fan favorite, always has been, and probably always will be. So I have to put Jumping Spider, of course, up here in the awesomes with the other one, because with all of the popularity that it has, you can't say that it's not anything but awesome. All right, guys, so that then brings us to Abandoned Annie. Now, guys, this is, of course, as I said, these are all awesome animatronics, but you know, as far as like an overall jump scare one, I felt the jump scare was maybe a little bit lesser on this one than it is compared to some of the other ones, because you're kind of expecting that mouth to sort of pop right open, and it does. And the creepy voice, of course, gives it edge. Again, not saying these are not cool animatronics, because they're all awesome, but when you compare it to the other animatronics ghoulies, this one isn't quite as awesome as some of the other ones, and it's just one that I simply, you know, just, it's in the likes. It just sounds weird to say that because I love them all, but that's where we're putting it in this tier list. Bringing us then to the Nightcrawler animatronic ghoulies. Now, I know that this is another fan favorite animatronic that's very popular among Spirit Halloween enthusiasts, and it is an awesome jump scare, guys. However, I have heard, again, as I've mentioned before in my other rankings of this animatronic, that it is rather difficult to pull together. And for me personally, the jump scare on this one never hit as hard as some of the other animatronics. However, he is a rather frightening looking animatronic, and he does have a lot of creepy noises and sound effects. And again, the discontortionist of it and how he's like upside down and on his hands and all that makes him effectively creepy, but not quite awesome in terms of a jump scare for me. But I'm going to put it right up here in the liked it category. Which then brings us to Mr. Dark. And ghoulies, I've said it once and I've said it before, that Mr. Dark is a fantastic animatronic. Completely scared the pants off anyone that first season that animatronic was released. It really was terrifying. And still, even though we are all familiar with it, it still has a good re-scare value, because you're never really quite sure if that thing's going to stay attached to that base. And it comes flying out at you at supercharged speeds, guys. So Mr. Dark will always probably rank up in the awesome category for me, ghoulies, just because of how impactful he was when he first came out. And then look how many reskins we've had since then. Like last year, we got 2 reskins of him. So let's hope we get a cool one this year, guys. Everybody's been wanting a clown reskin of Mr. Dark, so let's see if they do it, Spirit. And speaking of clowns, that brings us to the Sitting Scare Clown, which in terms of all of the sitting scare animatronics, this one is probably my favorite. But when compared to some of the other jump scares that we have in this list, it didn't really rank quite as high as I thought it would, because ultimately it is just another sitting scare animatronic, and we all know what they do. They're all basically the same. They're just sort of different costume and different phrasing and all that. So in terms of when compared to the other jump scares, he's really not all that impressive, but still a very cool and my favorite of the sitting scare animatronics. Up next then is the Hauntress. Now this is another one that I thought was really cool, because this one doesn't really jump out at you, but hides behind things and then kind of pops out, which means that the setup of Hauntress has to be pristine. So she's not gonna just work in any setup. You have to have her placed specifically. So because of that limitation, I feel like she's not going to be quite as awesome as you would think, that, as I thought she kind of would have ranked originally. And I know she is a fan favorite and has had several reskins and is an incredibly creepy looking animatronic, but because her setup is so specific and you have to have her weighted down, otherwise she's going to just fly over and fall down and stuff. So again, a lot of specifics required with her bumps her down into just a like, because you know these other ones are very simple, they're very easy, and they're very effective versus some of these other ones that are down in the lower categories. Up next then is Fright in the Box, and guys, you know, like I am very partial to the clown animatronics, and I really thought this was a very neat design for an animatronic. It's been very popular, among Spirit Halloween fans. We have had an inflatable made of it. There's been several videos of people who have redesigned it, painted it with different stuff, and made it look creepier and different. So because of that versatility and because of just how awesome and lovable and just creepy and scary and effective this guy is as a jump scare, he's gonna go all the way up here. Like, I don't personally own a Fright in the Box, but I would like to at some point in time, just because of how different, you know, it is when you have a completely a whole circus haunt. This is one that just stands out because, you know, it's a head inside of a Jack-in-a-Box. Bringing us up next to then is Desmodus, and I've talked about Desmodus a lot throughout the seasons since he came out, Ghoulies. And this is, as we know, an awesome animatronic. I know that I did rank him like a little bit lower in my previous ranking of the 2023 animatronics because he broke a lot, and that normally would bump him down for a ranking. But if we're just going on his scareability, this guy got me every single time that I saw him in the stores. His jump scare was never always quite the same each time that I saw him, and because I don't know if it was because he was breaking, maybe, I don't really know, but I'm just going to go off of my own personal experience with Desmodus on this ranking here, Ghoulies, and I'm going to put him up here at the top as being an awesome animatronic just because it got me a lot. I mean, it scared me, and that's what we're ranking on, is scare. All right, so then our last two here, we've got Henry Hustle and Menacing Molly. Henry Hustle, I love the idea of this one, guys. This was a completely different animatronic. When I first saw it, I didn't really know what to expect from it because the cards could have done something. Anything could have really happened with this guy. But the fact that his head pops up and reveals a demonic clown is like a double hit because you get the jump scare and then you get a demonic clown. So that's like a double hit for me, guys. But when you compare him to the other animatronics, and then after that initial scare is done and over with, the jump scare ability for it kind of doesn't really repeat and is not as strong as it is, and it does break quite frequently. It is a very popular animatronic at Hunter's Haunted House. I love going there to see him, but because of all of the little side issues with him, he's not going to get quite an awesome. He's going to fall down here into one that I just like in compared to the other jump scare animatronics. And then last, of course, is Menacing Molly here, Ghoulies. And again, we've ranked her before, and the rank holds still. She is scary. She is creepy. Her costume is great. Her jump scare is awesome. It's different and unique the way she pops back. I just think this is always a scary, creepy, demonic, freak-out animatronic that is also a fan favorite from Spirit Halloween. So she is, of course, going to get a top ranking up here with awesome. So taking a look at our 12 best jump scare animatronics of all time here, Ghoulies. Look at this, nobody ended up on a do not like. As I told you, I loved all of these animatronics, so I didn't feel any of them would end up on a do not like. And we've only got just the sitting scare clown down here in an okay. And again, that's just because of how basic it was, you know, nothing really special about him except for the fact that he's a cool looking clown. But for the most part, Ghoulies, all of these animatronics are awesome or light. So there you have our complete ranking for the best Spirit Halloween jump scare animatronics of all time. Guys, leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about this ranking and if we had any animatronics that you thought should have been added to this tier list. I don't know. I couldn't think of them all. But drop us a comment, give us a thumbs up, and make sure that you're hitting that subscribe button so that way you do not miss our next video. And until next time, I will catch you later, Ghoulies.